like it's like I want somebody to fucking love me, man. Like just fucking love me, and like, but then your idea of you wanted the one person that you looked to and you thought was your world that would take care of you.
That one got me, dude.
It's real.
Goddamn. God, we're just gonna be a two grown ass men here just crying for the next hour and a half. Going back to.
I didn't cry.
You're crying, I ain't crying. Welcome to the Tested and Twisted podcast. I'm your host. My name is Chase Shaw, and today we have the first ever in Tested and Twisted history recurring guest.
What's up?
How does it feel, John?
This feels good.
You feel special?
I guess so, yeah.
This time we decided we're going to drink coffee instead of whiskey, which is, you know, we're growing up. We're making better choices.
Better choices. Yeah, water and coffee.
So I feel like last time we had you on, I mean, we haven't stopped talking since you came on the first time, but I just feel like I got such a good response. I feel like people really felt your episode, and I feel like we needed to have you back on just to kind of just go over some of the things that we missed, because you have a fucking crazy ass story.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So what's new in your life, brother?
Nothing really is new, other than we got a puppy and stuff, you know. But life's just going, working.
How's that puppy dad life?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Stressful sometimes, but fun.
What was the reason, besides the obvious reason of just like we want a cool ass dog? What was the reason for getting a dog? Did you just feel like you're missing something in your life? You wanted to...
Yeah, well, I've always had a dog for like 90% of my. I've always had a dog, so it's like, and my kids are young, so I want them to grow up with a dog. You know, have them. My oldest son grew up with dogs, but those ones passed away. They're old, you know. So just whatever opportunity was there, I seen it. My in-law aunt, whatever, she had got a bunch of puppies unintentionally, so she was giving them away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
all right.
like,
So that's all that happened.
Yeah.
And it was Dixie, right?
Yeah.
Dixie.
Dixie.
Cute little dog.
Yeah, she's cute.
I mean, she's not little. It's going to be a big ass dog.
Yeah, she's going to be big as fuck, dude. It's crazy.
So I feel like there was a lot that we missed in the last episode, and I don't want to spend too much time like poking around the same stuff that we talked about last time, but I feel like we spent a lot of time focusing on just the storyline in general, and we didn't like get to focus on like the big details of a lot of the stories. So I guess this is the first time I'm ever having a reoccurring episode, so it's like,
Yeah, I got you.
I feel like the pressure's on. So I feel like we should kind of bring it back to childhood, and as a reminder to everyone who watched the first episode, because everyone's got that TikTok brain where they forget about everything quickly.
Yeah.
So basically, long story short, you were born here in Florida.
Yeah.
I'll let you say this part, but your mom was not maybe necessarily ready for motherhood.
She did her best. Yeah, she wasn't.
She did her best.
That's what we'll go with.
Yeah. And long story short, that ended up with you in foster care system, prison at a young age, and now being the wonderful man that you are now. So that's the shortest way we can put that.
It's the first time I've ever been called wonderful, so I appreciate it. That's what's up.
So let's just focus on like for a little bit here, just being like a young kid and that feeling of just chaos, you know? Do you feel like you resonate with that word chaos? Is that like something?
I mean, that's what it was at points, yeah.
How do you feel like that ended up affecting you as an adult?
I think it affected me in a lot of ways. That I didn't even recognize until recently. Like I said before, even the stuff at a young age that I was going through with family and just the situation, that was my normal. So I really didn't see. I knew it was fucked up and stuff. You know what I mean? At times, but you never really broke it down and analyzed it that much until I was in my late 20s, something like that, or maybe about mid 20s, and then kind of crazy how sometimes realizing something will fuck you up even more than you already fucked up, because now you're just like, oh shit, like, what you mean? So that was fucked up, right? Like,
yeah.
damn. So it affected me in a lot of ways, just confusion. So you know what I mean? And then with having kids, trying to change it and be something that I've really never had much of a display of, so I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. But trying my, figuring it out. It's trust in people. Like, I get I'm an emotional person. Like, and I think one of the things that I do, one of my bad things is how do I say it? I put too much expectation, I guess I would say, into people.
Like into your relationships with certain people.
Yeah. And if you don't meet that expectation type stuff, it makes me feel like you just don't, like, I'll go quick, like, oh, you just don't give a fuck about me. You know what I mean? Like, it's stupid, but that's something that I think is a factor, a result of shit that I've been through. Just that I don't trust people anyway, so it's like I don't expect anything, but I do. It's weird. I don't know how to really explain that.
No, I know exactly what you mean, because I have some of those same issues where even a text back can mean so much.
Yeah,
you start diving and digging into like these little things that really aren't a big deal at all.
Yeah,
but they seem like such a big deal in your head.
Whoever's it's not intentional type shit. Like, they're not.
Yeah.
Quick, like.
Well, it's like everybody's going through like their own shit in their own life, and it's like you're going through your own shit in your own life, but you have these expectations on that relationship, and when they're not met, it's like, okay, yeah, like you said, you don't give a fuck about me. I know exactly what you mean. The good thing is the fact that you can see that now. It's so much, and it's still a hard thing to like shift and reframe that thinking, but the fact that you can even acknowledge that is so big.
Oh yeah, that's like the hardest part.
Think about all those relationships that you probably burned just being like, oh fuck them, they don't care about me, and really they're probably like, oh shit, where'd John go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a couple of them.
What are some of the things that you're trying to do now with your children, because you have a kid who's about to go? I don't know if you want to get too specific.
No, I don't go over their names or nothing like
that.
Okay,
so you have a kid who's about to be in high school.
Yeah.
And you also have a kid who's about to be coming into elementary school almost.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you're trying to?
1-year-old.
And a 1-year-old. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy ass life, bro. You own a business. I mean, this dude's out here working, man. He's got a lot going on. What are some of the things that you do now to make sure that your kids feel the things that you didn't necessarily feel when you were a child?
I just try to be there. I try to listen. I try to take time. And I want to, I'm just like with my oldest son, I make him work. I want you to understand what it is to earn something and to have somebody that's backing you and willing to teach you. And I don't know. It's just I'm there, and I bust my ass for them. I make sure that they have a house. They ain't got to worry about having to move every few months and going here and going there. Like, I'm gonna give them a stable life. That's my, that's what I care about the most. And I don't know, man. I just try not to be a piece of shit with them. There's obviously a lot of shit I have done that I'm not super proud of. Not to them, but around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just been young and stupid, which is part of the reason I'm working with my mom thing we talked about earlier. But I just try to be there for them, man, at all times, and I listen. I play with them. I talk to them. I teach them stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
You love being a dad.
I do.
I can tell. Yeah, you can actually see it in your eyes when you're talking about your kids. You love your kids.
Yeah, very much.
I can't wait for that day when I can have that feeling. I just don't feel like mentally I'm quite there yet, but soon.
Yeah.
You know?
I tell you, you're never gonna be ready.
That's what everyone says, bro. Everyone says that.
You're
And
never
I'm like,
gonna be
fuck.
ready. You're not.
You mentioned your mom there a second ago. Do you mind talking about
That's fine.
your mom? Okay, so I don't. You just stop me if I'm going places I shouldn't go. I don't know what you want on camera and what you don't. So you started the path back. You've started the path of forgiveness with your mom.
Yeah.
What does that look like in your eyes?
Well, honestly, this all came from coming here the first time, really, and then doing this with you, and then after doing this, me and the family, we all sat down and we watched it. My wife wanted to watch it. My buddy, my brother Chris, everybody wanted to watch it. My son wanted to watch it. So we sat down and watched it, and just watching myself talk about stuff, saying it out loud and doing what I did coming here that was a battle, honestly, a little bit. But then sitting down and watching and listening to myself kind of put things into a different perspective, kind of. I don't know if you can understand. It's just hearing me say what I said. I don't know. It just hit me a little bit.
I had that. I had a similar feeling when I watched back my first host episode where I just certain things I talked about. I didn't. I could tell that I had emotions built up behind certain things I didn't even know were there, and I was like, "Oh shit!" You could just tell how you know yourself better than anyone, and you could tell how you say certain things, that you feel certain types of ways, and I could see why that would bring up a lot of emotions.
Yeah, so in doing that, and just talks that I've had with my wife and stuff, and just my kids, and they don't understand that shit. You know what I mean? Like my young ones, and they ask where's Nana and this and that. So it's it made me just take the time to think about it. And like I talked to you earlier, we talked a little bit earlier about, is that realization sometime that no matter how shitty it was, which it was a lot, I think in the best of ways, she did her best. Mm-hmm. She was young. When I was 14, she was, 34?
Fuck, that's so
You know what I mean? So she was younger than me right now, doing it, by herself. And, she's still young. Mm-hmm. And then before that, she was in her mid-20s, you know what I mean? So, not that it makes any of this shit okay, but I can't change it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing I can do to change it. So I just thought about that for a while, and I made a decision just to, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I'm not there yet. Mm-hmm. I spoke to her for the first time in a while. But I got to let go of that shit somehow. Doesn't mean I'm going to bring her back in my life. She ain't coming to live with me or nothing like that. But I'm not going to keep her from talking to her grandchildren. I want them to have that relationship with her, because what me and her went through ain't none of their business. And as long as she's good to them, then I'm not going to restrict that. You know what I mean? But it's I got to do that for myself, for my children, for my wife, because I have to. There's a lot. I'm fucked up about that shit, and I think I hide it well a lot of times, but it's there, And when I have interactions with my kids, sometimes in the middle of that, I think back to my mom, even in a positive way at times. I can understand why she's so frustrated sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I couldn't. My son, my 13-year-old right now, is how old I was when shit really started getting fucked up between us. And when she started leaving and I wouldn't see her for a month or two, sometimes on end or whatever, and I didn't know where she was all the time. And that's back before cell phones and shit too, so I couldn't just call her, But I look at that and I look at my son and I'm like, fuck, I couldn't do that to him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But I have to let go of that shit regardless. Like I said, I think she did her best in her eyes, because, and I don't even know if honestly, because she was getting fucked up and shit all the time, drinking, doing God. I don't know what else she was doing. Mm-hmm. I don't think she was big into drugs or anything like that, but she might not even remember. Like, I don't know, because it doesn't seem like I said, I spoke to her finally for the first time. She reached out to me actually and asked if she could call me. Wasn't a negative conversation, but it's again expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a lot more than that, but I got 4 minutes and 24 seconds of her trying to talk to me, kind of like nothing happened.
What would you have liked? How would you have liked that conversation to go?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. 'Cause I don't know, man. Mm-hmm. Acknowledgement, I guess, is the best thing, but I don't even know if I want that. I don't know what I want. I don't know.
You said that you have to let this go, and I know it seems like a very obvious question, and the answer seems probably pretty obvious. But why do you feel so strongly about letting this go?
Because it's resentment. It's negative feelings that are there, and I just think that whether I know it or not, which I kind of do, but I don't know. I know it affects people. Negative shit's gonna affect you regardless, and I don't know. I want to be. I've never really had a time in my life that I know that I've been like free of just all this weight, and I want to get it off of me. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that feels like, so I would like that.
He said, "Please." Yeah. How have you seen that resentment and negativity manifest in your life? Can you pinpoint certain things that you feel, besides like going to prison, that maybe a little more like, I don't know if there's not much more personal than going to prison, but like, yeah, I guess how's that manifested in your life? Those resentments and that negativity with your mom.
That's a good question. I guess at times it's made me resent people that have good relationships with their mother or their parents in general, father and mother. It's made me look at people like they're the piece of shit because they have a great life, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is fucking ignorant as shit. And I don't really totally mean it like I look at you like, but it's just that like, you're like, look at this motherfucker. You think you got, you know what I mean? Like you get that way in your head. It might not expose that to the world, but it's in your head.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And just the trust. The trust in that, like I said, with the expectation of people and looking at, like, it's like, I want somebody to fucking love me, man. Like, just fucking love me. And like, but then your idea of, you wanted the one person that you looked to and you thought was your world that would take care of you.
That one got me, dude.
It's real. I mean, I have that. I got my children, my wife, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I know my wife loves me more than I think anybody in this world's ever loved me.
Yeah.
And I don't, and then I get it. And sometimes I'm such a fucking, I don't deserve it. You know? So that's where it fucks you up, is because then you do get it and it's like, oh, you don't mean that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's all that bundled into one. It's like chasing that, wanting somebody like to just, me for everything I am, just, but yeah, and then not acknowledging it, not fucking fully embracing that when you have it right in front of you. All of that, it just comes from all of that.
Isn't that interesting how you'll search for love for so long, and then once you finally get it, you won't accept it, and you find all of
challenge
the things.
It.
Yes, you find all of the ways to possibly challenge it until the love runs out, because they're like, I give up, motherfucker.
Yeah, you can't deal with this shit no more.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, what the fuck? You obviously really didn't love me.
Yeah.
You just cycle of fuck shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I did that relationship after relationship after relationship, and then I wisened up enough and like went through enough relationships for by the time I found Emma. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely put her through like the whole like you don't love me bullshit, and she just stuck around. And I imagine that you had a very similar situation with your current wife, where like she's your ride or die. She just stuck by you and proved you time and time again that it's like, no, I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, this is why I love you. And that's just feels good, dude. It feels good.
It does.
And it's like just like knowing that no matter what, you always have that partner in crime is just like the best fucking feeling. I've always said that having a good woman by your side is like having a superpower, and I truly believe that. Yeah. Having a good woman by your side, there's literally nothing better than that. I love it. So, going back to goddamn. God, we're just gonna be a two grown ass men here just crying for the next hour and a half. Going back to,
I didn't
cry. You're crying, I ain't crying. Going back to that conversation with your mom and how you wanted it to go, like you said, you don't know. Do you think that you'll ever? Do you think you'll ever give her something to go off? Do you think you'll ever tell her how you want it to go? Do you ever think you'll ask her the right questions? Or do you want her to come to you and just say it? Because it might mean more if she just says it.
And it's, selfishly, that's what I want, is for her to come say it. And most also, because this isn't the first time. Mm-hmm. Like, I've tried to have these conversations. Mm-hmm. And I think, it's to my own faults, too. Like, I didn't always do it at the best time. Like, she was drinking or I was drinking or, But I've tried multiple times to talk about it, and it never. She's always gone into hysteria, basically. I just start crying, like shut down, basically. Don't want to talk about it. I didn't do this, or So which that makes it hurts worse, because it's like, bitch, you can't even like look me in my face and like listen to me, because if I do talk about it, I get cut off, or. Like I said, just the shutdown whole thing. It's so whenever she, I want you to just fucking say it. Like, just admit it. Talk. Which I don't even need. I don't even know if I need that. You know what I mean? Because I know what you did. But I guess it is. I just want you to fucking own it and just like truly apologize. Tell me some real shit. Like, tell me that, hey, yo, I did my best. I was young. I was fucking. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Blah blah blah. And she kind of said that in a sense, in her own way, which that's she's who she is. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing, I don't know what the fuck she really went through in her life. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid. I was worried about playing and shit. I'm not paying attention to that. Mm-hmm. So, the world, shit happens to people, man. So.
Is she a constant part of your life right now, ever since this conversation?
No.
You guys don't talk at all?
No.
When was the last time you reached out to her?
I haven't.
No.
I mean, I said today's her birthday. I said happy birthday to her today.
Have you, and I know you have, I'm just asking this question because I have to. Have you thought about like how she feels about it and what
I have? That's why I said she might not even remember everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she could have been going through shit in her life at the time too, where she was just on a spiral, obviously, which she was. I had to be, I would imagine. Or just, I don't know. But because there's parts of my life that are blurry as fuck, so
As a friend, I ain't no fucking therapist, but as a friend, I would challenge you to reach out to her and tell her what you want to hear. Because I think you would be shocked at the response you might get. And I don't know your mom, but I do know that I've been in a situation not even close to similar as, well, I didn't have my dad was just never a part of my life. I never had this conversation, and then he died. And then there was like certain things I was like, man, I wish I would have done this, just because I wish I would have seen how it would have turned out. And I don't know your mom, and I'm not saying that she's going to die anytime soon, and I pray to God she doesn't, but I don't want you as a friend to be left with that unknown, and I just challenge you to reach out to her and tell her what you want to hear. And that doesn't mean you need to say, write down, here's a script, tell this shit to me, but just say, hey, like, I want to hear this come from you. Like, are you sorry for what you did? Yeah. Because she we don't know how she feels. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. But we don't know how she feels. We don't know what her response to that might be. She might be holding back an emotional floodgate, and you might be very shocked at what you hear from her. And if you want to let go of this resentment as bad as you say you want to, which I truly I can see it on you. You want to let go of this, and you are. You're obviously making steps. You owe it to yourself to at least try to do that and see what happens.
I appreciate that, and I will.
I mean, just see what happens. Worst case.
Can't get no worse.
Exactly. I mean,
Hey.
Worst case, you don't get what you want from it, and it doesn't hit your heart the right way, and you think, well, fuck that woman,
Yeah.
and move on with your life. And you're gonna be in the same spot that you are right now.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you might have a little bit more resentment, but then we'll come back and we'll talk about it again, and we'll come up with a new game plan.
All right. Start over.
Do you know how her, and I know we touched on this in in a little bit in the first podcast, and maybe I talked about this separately. Do you know like what her and your dad's relationship was like before you even like were a thought?
The only information I really have about it was like he was like a party dude. From what I've understood through my aunt and my mom, what I have talked about it, he was just like the dude people got coke off of, and he was just the party guy, bro. Like he was the cool dude.
And obviously there's no relationship, never was.
Nah.
Not at all.
No.
Do you hold resentment towards him the way that you hold resentment towards your mom? That you're actively trying to let go of, obviously, but
I guess so. I don't know if I would say resent. Well, I did. We talked about that on the first one. It's not really I don't know, man, because like I hold resentment to him in the sense that like, bitch, you just left. Like you didn't try shit. From what I know, I've never met you. I ain't never got nothing from you, and from everything I know, you knew that I was there. So I held hatred for a long time for that. I don't hold hatred anymore. I just kind of in that zone. I don't really give a fuck, but I do give a fuck. I really don't, because like I would never walk away from my kids, bro. Like I don't give a fuck what's going on. Like, I am not leaving my kids. Like with my oldest son is from a previous relationship. No, I'm not leaving my kids, bro, at all. I don't give a fuck. There's nothing stopping me from being in my kid's life other than death. You know what I mean? So I don't understand how the fuck he could do that. Also, he was married. He just banged my mom. Like, he already had kids. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it sucks. Like, that you could do that. And, like, now, like we talked about it before, but I would like to meet him now. Never wanted to, but now I would.
yeah, I know we touched on that a little bit last time.
Might slap him, maybe.
I mean,
he's an old man now, so I ain't gonna hit an old man, but.
Yeah, get it, old man.
He might be old man. You never know.
I always thought about that with my biological dad. Like, how would I had one conversation with him, and it was like a 30-second conversation. It was literally, he told my mom the only way that he would let my now stepdad adopt me was if he got to have a conversation with me first. And I didn't even let that motherfucker talk. As soon as we got on the phone, I was like, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
I don't know why the fuck you wanted to have a conversation with me. And I was like a 14-year-old kid on drugs, just angsty as fucking, just mad. And this was the first time I ever talked to him.
Yeah.
So I obviously just going to let him have it. And then I could almost feel the hurt on him through the phone, which I know sounds crazy, but I could just feel it, dude. And I just hung up the phone.
Silence.
And what's crazy is my sisters or whatever the fuck they'd be, people who he ended up going on and having kids and shit later on, and they reached out to me after I put out that first podcast and was talking about him and my mom's relation, my biological dad and my mom's relationship and blah blah blah. And they reached out and they had all sorts of things to say to me about like he wasn't like a bad guy and like all this shit, and it made me feel all these things that I like just never would have imagined I would have felt. And at this point, he died from heart failure.
Did you know them prior to them reaching out to you just now? For real?
No. I knew that there was like I know. I got a bunch of brothers and sisters out there that I never have met. You know, they're just out there. Like he was out there fucking, and he got a lot of people pregnant. He obviously did not practice safe sex because he ended up with a bunch of bastard kids. Crazy. So I got a bunch of like siblings out there that I've never even met, and it's crazy because they started just coming out of the woodwork and hitting me up. And
I've got 2 that I know of.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like I said, he had a wife and kids already.
But they reached out to you?
Oh, no. I
don't, just that you know.
Saying, I know I've got other brothers and sisters out there.
Yeah, but they don't know you exist?
Not to my knowledge.
No, I mean, it's not like he's going to be out there telling people, you know?
Obviously, yeah. So, honey,
like, hey.
You know, knocked another one up.
But, yeah, no, I just always thought, like, man, I wonder how I would feel about that conversation if we ever had that conversation. I don't remember how that would play out, and I regret it a little bit.
I don't know how it would. Like, just it all depends on for my angle. It depends on your attitude, how you approach me. Because if you do it in any kind of like, don't try to act like my father, bitch. Like,
right. You can't son me now.
Yeah, don't do that.
I think what I've all right. So this either goes 2 ways, or I mean, it can go a lot of different ways. But the ways that I've noticed is when you have bad parents or like this type of situation growing up, like what you're talking about. I don't know. I don't want to call your mom bad. It feels fucked up. It feels disrespectful when I say this shit.
You're good.
All right. When you have a bad mom or a bad dad or parents in certain situations, like it either creates a hell of a father out of the product that comes out of it on the other side. The son that gets abandoned, the son that gets beat, the son that gets this. Not that you got beat or anything by your mom, but I'm just saying, you know, the product that comes out can be the best dad ever, which you are, or it can be the worst dad ever.
A replica.
And it's just interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, it's just like you have siblings that have alcoholic father. One of them becomes alcoholic, the other one never drinks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's like me and my littlest brother couldn't be further apart from each other. My little brother, he's literally like, he was like a straight A student all through school. I fucking didn't go to school. He played sports his whole life, and he was like on all the honor rolls and getting recruited here, recruited there, and blah, blah, blah. Just like this goody two-shoe kid. And then there's like me. It's just so crazy to see like just the difference it can make, you know? Just so wild, man. So wild. Fucking crazy, dude. Going back to the path of letting go of resentment and whatnot, have you done therapy and talked about this stuff?
Yeah, I've done therapy. Like I said, I've recently quit just because it's just with everything that's going on right now. It's just a little bit out of my budget. I'll get back to it, but I do therapy.
Did you?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it? Do you feel like it helped you?
I think it helped me just in the sense that I actually talked about some shit that I don't really talk about, you know, and got an unbiased opinion of somebody that don't know me. So that really did help in that sense. Because I'm thankful that the therapist that I ended up with, she, because I was using BetterHelp, but she actually gave a fuck, you know what I mean? Like, she listened and analyzed shit, and so it was cool. It was good.
Would you go back to therapy if the situation was different?
Oh yeah, once I get some other things cleared up, I'm gonna do it again.
If you don't mind me asking, do you remember any like the tidbits of information she said about this situation and letting go of resentments? Did she have any words of wisdom?
It was kind of what I was talking about, similar, but more like she's the one that really kind of helped open my eyes too, other than coming here and doing this, which I was seeing her when I did. She watched this podcast too, actually.
That's cool.
But it was she helped kick in that, you don't have to do it for her. You're not forgiving for her for like looking at it from a different view and understanding that it's better for me to do it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, and her putting, making me think, because I blame myself for, I'll tend to blame myself for shit. I'll find a reason I find my own faults and stuff before anything else. And she's like, it's not your fault. Like, she made me get that shit out of my head. She's still there. You know what I mean? I know I made decisions, but no, it was cool, man. As far as I like therapy, I am gonna go back. I recommend anybody that thinks they need it, you should go.
Yeah, I've always said that. I know there's like this wave going around not too long ago, in like the red pill, like manosphere, where it was like therapies for bitches, and it's like,
yeah,
some of the hardest motherfuckers I know on this planet go to therapy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's nothing. I think it's one of the hardest things you can do is go and tell some person that you don't fucking know all your problems, and then have them break it down.
Coming here the first time I did, I mean, like I said, me and my boy have a podcast and
Yeah.
shit, but we hadn't really delved too much into. Like, you asked really good questions, obviously. And again, it's like therapy. Coming to somebody I never met you before. So it's like you're trying to figure shit out too, you know what I mean? So that helps. But it's hard to open up and put that shit out there. But I did it here that first time. That was rough. There's obviously shit I hadn't talked about, like you said. But I don't know, man.
I know that the first time we spent. No, you're good. The first time we spent, and we're kind of jumping all over the place here, but the first time you came here, we spent a lot of time focusing on a lot of negative shit.
Yeah.
And something I'm trying to do, and I know something that you're trying to do, is find positive and shit. What are some of the situations that stick out in your brain? I know they're so much harder to find than the fucking shitty stuff, because the shitty stuff's just always there. Mm-hmm. But like, is there certain things that you look back on in childhood and say, like, thank God this person was there, or thank God this situation happened? Or is there positives that come up in your brain?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, when I was young, we was still in Naples and everything before it really all started going real downhill around between 10 and 12. That's when I really started really going quick. Mm-hmm. But, I have shit. I used to spend time with my cousins and shit all the time. We had like a family unit type shit for a little bit. Everybody lived in the same town, so that shit was cool. Like, I remember that kind of stuff, and going out in mud buggies and stuff, and being with my cousins and riding bikes all over the place and shit like that was fun. And I do have people in my life, like, no matter how shitty it's gotten, thankfully there have been people in and out of my life that some of them only come in for a very, very short period of time, meet somebody, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's shit that happens. I remember good people. Mm-hmm. I still have some in my life. So, yeah, there's definitely positives to find. Like, it's not always shitty. Mm-hmm. It's just, unfortunately, memory, that shitty shit. Mm-hmm. It's because it hurts, man. And, I guess. I don't know, but the shitty shit stands out a lot more.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know what that is. I'm sure there's some scientific reason behind that, but it's like, it's so easy for me to pinpoint.
Oh, yeah, I can go back to a spot right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you ask about positive shit, and you're like, well, yeah, there was that one time.
Yeah, there was that one time. I did smile once.
Yeah.
Is there, do your kids... Well, I mean, I know two of your kids are obviously very little. They're not going to be asking questions like this. But I don't want to say his name. Does your oldest son ask questions about your mom?
Yes and no. Like, we've had, like I said, I'm very open with my son, for to an extent. We've had conversations and everything, and he's asked, yes, but he's also just seen, and because unfortunately, like, it's more, he has asked, but it's also him, he witnesses stuff and he'll talk to me about it, like, why did she do this? But, you know what I mean? Like, before everything really fell out recently, last year or whatever, she would come to the house and shit, but she would just come and be there and then just get drunk and sit out on the back porch on her phone or on her tablet, like, go out on the back porch and watch a movie out on a tablet while we're all, literally everybody's inside together watching a movie. It's just weird, like, shit like that. And then literally sleep all day the next day while everybody's up. We're trying to clean, doing shit. Just shit like that, really. Like, that's where that kind of shit started fucking me up even worse recently. It's where there was a big explosion. Mm-hmm. But just because that is like entitlement type shit. Mm. And that really fucked me up, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you tell your oldest about your prison situation? How much does he know about that?
I mean, he knows a good bit. He knows I went there and everything. he knows good. I've talked to him. He's asked me stuff. He obviously watched the podcast too. Mm-hmm. I didn't really go into like super descriptive details about everything with him, but he knows. I'm real with him because I want him to. Even same thing. What I'm saying with him is the reason I come here. I do the shit like I talk to him about it because I want you to understand that even if you make mistakes, you fuck up. Like you can come out of shit. It's all about mindset and your drive. You know what I'm saying? If you can focus on something, it's not always easy, but you can get past it. And I also don't want him. I'd rather you experience. If you're gonna know about the shit, know about it through my mistakes. You know what I mean? Don't go do this shit, which I really don't worry about that at all with him. Mm-hmm. He's a really good kid. But yeah, I tell him shit, man. I want him to understand it. I want him to understand. And I also don't want, because in society, people can look at somebody, bad guys are in prison. It's not everybody in prison is a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Are there bad? Yeah, there's fucking monsters in there. But not everybody. Actually, I would go as far as say at least half, or a little over half the people are just, they made mistakes, they fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, they're still good people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I know that there's plenty of situations that could have put me in prison for quite some time, and I wouldn't consider myself a quote-unquote bad person. I've had my moments.
Prison for tax evasion.
IRS, if you're watching this, that's not me.
I didn't do it.
Wink, wink. You're going to hate this question, but if your son was sitting here today and I asked him, describe your dad for me, what would he say?
Probably say I'm super fucking cool. No, I don't know. I would imagine he would just say that I work my ass off, and I think he thinks I'm a good person. Mm-hmm. He thinks I'm crazy. He thinks I'm lame, obviously, because he's a young fucking teenager, and you know, we're old now.
It's so weird because I think about like how old we are. And like how old I was when I was looking at my parents and judging them.
I swear to God, I think about that shit all the time.
And you're just like, I thought my parents were like old as fuck.
Yeah, just so knowledgeable and shit. That's like part of the shit with my mom. It's like I look back, I'm like,
never mind.
Maybe I should lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
His life thing's hard to figure out.
Yeah, it can be.
But it is weird. Like even like the person I consider a father figure, my Uncle Johnny. He like. Being younger, he was always just like this big, powerful dude, and which he was, and he is. Don't get me wrong, but like you're looking at him as a young man, and like now I'm like that motherfucker was 25 or 30. You know what I mean? He was like 32.
That's the part that trips me out.
Yeah, and like how I'm 36, and I'm thinking like I'm not that grown yet. You know, I still got some living to do.
Like a fucking child.
Like yeah, and then you think my kids are looking at me like that right now.
Yeah,
like he knows everything.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's so wild. The man who played my father figure role for pretty much all of my childhood until I met until my mom met my stepdad, who ended up adopting me when I was 13-ish, was my Uncle Reese, and he died when I was my age now, or actually a little bit younger than I am now. And it's like I remember like looking at him like he was a fucking superhero in my mind, and like he seemed like he knew everything. And I remember we'd like play video games together and shit. And then I like, as I got older, I started to realize like, oh, this dude was fucked up. And then I found out that he was smoking meth, and I found out that he was addicted to painkillers, and like he had all this other shit. But it's just like fucking crazy to think about. Like I sat here and I was looking at this dude like he had it all figured out, and he ended up dying at my age. It's just a trip, dude. There's no point to the story outside of the fact that it's just so fucking crazy to think about, man.
Yep.
You can't use working hard as an answer to this question, because I know you are a hard worker. That's very apparent. If your wife was sitting here and I asked her, what kind of husband is John, what would she say?
I think she would tell you I'm a good provider and I'm a great father.
You son of a bitch. I said, don't use hard worker. You said, I'm a great provider.
Keywords, homie.
was clean. That was clean.
I mean, that's what I think she would say.
Yeah.
If I'm a little bit of a hard ass sometimes, and not always nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, but I love her. She knows that. You know, I don't know. Depends on the day what her answer would be.
Is it a Monday?
Has she been with the kids all day and I've been out doing something else?
Yeah.
Don't ask her then.
Yeah.
Like that motherfucker. No.
Now, what if now I'm asking you, what do you think your best qualities are?
Oh man, what the hell.
I know you hate this question.
Yeah,
no one wants to answer what they think is good about themselves.
Yeah.
It feels very narcissistic and
Yeah,
full
I
of
don't really
yourself.
know what
But
to say.
it's important that you can identify these things. Don't you fucking say it. Don't you fucking say it, dude.
No, I think I guess if I don't quit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess would be like I don't. No matter what, you know what I mean. Like I won't give up on shit. Not to say I've never not completed something. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, like in life, like bitch, I'm not. No matter what happens, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna take shit on.
Mm-hmm.
Go against the grain my whole life. It don't matter. No matter what you throw at me, I'm gonna carry that shit or dodge it. Whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna get past that shit.
Mm-hmm. I love asking people that question. I know people hate answering that question, but it can tell you a lot about a person, how they answer that question.
Yeah.
What do your next 5 years look like in your opinion? What do you want your next 5 years to look like?
Next 5 years, I'd like to have my company built up a little bit bigger, to where I can have more time with my wife and my kids. You know, and having somebody else being able to help provide for their family. You know, and give other people opportunity. And I'd like to be in a better position to help other people. So, you know, and to, like I said, spend more time with my family, actually go do shit. And I'd like to have less weight on my shoulders.
What path? What do you think the path is to having less weight on your shoulders besides forgiving your mom?
That, forgiving my mom, just figuring out the business stuff, really, man, and getting, because it's scary as hell to do this, especially starting how I did, and it's just figuring it out. I don't know. I don't know what all it's going to take, and maybe I might not never get rid of it. You know what I mean? I might die with this weight on my shoulders, and I guess that's fine, because like I said, I mean, I carry it. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just what my life is meant to be, and I don't know.
Something I've noticed about myself is that, and I didn't realize until I did some self-reflection with my therapist not too long ago, and we talked about some of my traits, right? And something that I've always done, which I didn't realize I was doing, was I identified with my trauma so much in certain levels that letting go of it,
I already know what you're saying.
yeah, it felt like I was letting go of myself.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Do you feel? I mean, obviously, you thought about this. So
yeah, I feel that 100%.
it's almost like that's part of your like that's how you identify with yourself. So it's like, without that, what am I?
100%, bro.
And let's take that out.
I think that's what I mean. That's where I go with. I don't know what I expect from her. I don't know what I want you, because like, if it is all somehow we just let go of it all and we figure it all out and now we're good. Like, now who am I? Now what the fuck? Because that's your life. Your life is pain. So like, if I don't feel pain, what will I feel? I don't know.
What's your inner dialogue look like? How do you talk to yourself throughout the day?
Oh man, that's a conversation never needs to get out there.
You're like, oh, I'm getting baked rackets tonight.
Nah, man, I just I think about shit constantly, bro. My head runs wild all day long. Think about every aspect of things. Think too deeply about things. Think about But I honestly, a lot of it's just a reminder in my head to that this ain't the end of the shit. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna build my business more. I don't know how I'm gonna get to that point that I want to get to. But I have to remind myself all the time that I don't need to know how I'm gonna do it. I just need to know I'm gonna do it. So we'll figure that shit out along the way. Mm-hmm. There's that. There's a lot of comedic shit that goes on up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know, senseless fucking rambling on about something in my head. To the point, you know what I mean, where you catch yourself and you're just like, what the fuck is that? What have I been doing for the past 10 minutes? Yeah.
Out of your 3 kids, do you, and obviously some of them are going to have a little bit more developed personalities at this point because of the age differences and whatnot, but do you see yourself in one of your kids more than the other, or just yeah
Oh yeah, my 4-year-old, man,
wild one.
He's wild as hell. The 1-year-old's wild. He's kind of scary wild. Like, he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
But my 4-year-old, man, he idolizes me, bro, like hardcore.
That
like,
feels
I just
good,
bought
huh?
him boot. All he wanted for Christmas was new boots and a cowboy hat. And so, like, as soon as he wakes up in the morning, before he comes out the room, says good morning to anybody, he jumps up, puts his jeans on, throws his boots on, because he knows I'm out working in my boots and my jeans. And he'll wait till I come home, and once I take my boots off, sometimes he'll take his off and go get in shorts. He's like, all right, we're done with work. All day, bro, he's wearing them boots and jeans. Doesn't matter. He's not taking that shit off.
How does that make you feel knowing that he looks up to you like that?
It's a great feeling, but it's also scary.
Why?
I don't know. Scary might not be the right word, but it really makes you self-analyze more.
It's like he's paying attention.
Yeah. If he's paying that much attention and watching, and you know what I mean, now I really have to be a better person. Because if he's going to emulate me, I want him to emulate a good me. Mm-hmm. You know. So it's a little bit of pressure, but
a good pressure though.
Yeah, I'm happy for it. It makes me be a better person. Try to be, you know. It really challenges the anger in you,
mm-hmm.
you know, because makes you calm down. Like, he's 4, like, he doesn't understand everything right now. So when I talk to him, you know, I always try to get down. I'll never stand over him, talk to him. For the most part, I always try to get down on my knee, meet him at eye level, and talk, you know. So, but it like I said, it's scary just trying to make sure I'm what he needs to. I want to make sure I deserve to be looked up to, you know.
That is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I actually haven't really thought about that.
Yeah.
I don't have kids, so I just haven't thought about that. And, you know, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
What, this is a completely different topic, but how did going to prison affect you after you got out of prison? Which I know is a big question, so maybe we can break it into categories. Let's talk professionally. Was there situations that you found yourself in where maybe you couldn't get a job or people looked at you a certain way?
No, because it was juvenile, so doesn't really, I don't have to disclose that shit.
Yeah, if you want to go to prison young.
Get it out the way.
Yeah, get it out the way like 14.
Get out of there by 17. Right. It never really affected me in that kind of sense. It affected you just like I said in social ways more than anything, because especially you do that shit at a young age, you come out, a lot in the world changes in 2 years, man. Mm-hmm. So imagine people doing 10, 15, whatever, but a lot of shit can change. And then just having to carry, like, you can't just walk around and be all willy-nilly in prison. You gotta stand up for your shit, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not that every day is super hard. You ain't fighting all the time. It ain't nothing like, oh, people are getting stabbed daily. I mean, sometimes in some prisons it is, but not, you know. But regardless, it's a different attitude. There's a different way you carry yourself when you're in prison. Especially you get older and you go to the, you know, county jails or adult prison site. It's segregated. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, if you're a white boy, you don't some of them, you know, there's, especially in today's world, I think it integrates more, but still there's prison politics that are different than the outside world. So it's different shit to deal with in that aspect. But like I said before, like to me, all that shit was kind of normal. So I don't really know how it affected me. Like it was life. You know what I mean? Might have people go to prison. So like,
Yeah, they sure do. They sure
Yeah.
do. What have you been close to going back? And we don't got to get into specifics, but have you been close to going back?
Oh yeah.
And did you? Not that you were scared, but did it feel like, fuck, I fucked it up?
Yeah, because when that happened, which I don't care about getting into, but I was on a good path of changing my life. So like when that shit happened, I was about to go to for 5 years, but I did 2 years house arrest. But in that moment, not knowing what I was gonna get, it's like, fuck, man. Like I'm starting to change this shit around, and I go and do this shit. Like I was on the news, you know what I mean? Like all kind of shit, bro. Like so, I wasn't scared. I was disappointed in myself, bro. Like fuck, man. Like, and I just got me and my wife went married or whatever. Like I got this, I got a kid. Like God, I can't go to prison, man.
Do you mind telling the story?
I mean, I don't care. It was there used to be this nightclub in Naples called Vision Nightclub, and it was a fucking 18 and up club, which is already bad news.
Just recipe for fucking disaster.
Not only that, they had like most of the nights we went, like if you buy a cup for $20, like you just refill it all night for $1. So
Florida.
Yeah, bro. Of liquor, not beer. You getting fucked up in there, bro. So anyway, we're hanging out, and like it was me and my wife, like 3 or 4 of my buddies, and I think one of them had a girl with him too. One of my buddies got thrown out. We didn't even know he got thrown out. Whatever. We're in this it's a huge nightclub, bro. It's packed. It's like I don't know, probably a Friday or Saturday night, and we're in there dancing or whatever the fuck, and like people move, whatever, we got bumped. The whole crowd's pushing. So I got pushed. I bumped into this dude, knocked his cup out of his hand. And he got all pissy, talking shit. And I just laughed at it. I looked at it, I laughed at it. I'm like, bro, it's fucking all you can drink. Take your fucking cup back up there. Shut the fuck up. Like, I ain't knocked no $50 bottle out your hand. Shut up, dude. And I just walked away. I didn't think nothing of it. We finished out the rest of the night, hanging out. And then me and my wife was leaving. It's like 2 a.m, club's closing, and my wife's in front of me. Like I was a little bit behind her for whatever reason, and I hear, "What's up, pussy ass white boy?" And I look over, and it's 4 of them, Mexican dudes, and it was the dude I bumped into. I was like, "What's up, motherfucker?" And I walked over there and just stuck. Bow! As soon as I stuck him, dude stuck me. I just started getting jumped, and I'm sitting there going with him, getting it, bang, bang, bang. They finally got me on the ground. And they all started running. I jumped up and chased them. Caught the one from behind, knocked his ass down. I don't think I knocked him all the way out, but he went down. He was out of there. Caught up the other 3, started getting jumped again. My wife came and hit one of them, and they turned around and stuck her. And that's the last thing I blacked out, bro, and I went to town. And then the bouncer came. These fuckers knew the bouncers or people, the club owners, whatever. Bouncer came and grabbed my shoulder, and I turned around and stuck him. That dude was like Brock Lesnar, bro. That dude was big as fuck, bro. Like, bam, like, you know those moments you stand there like, oh shit.
You're like, that's not good.
That dude choked me out, bro. Yeah. Fucking choked me the fuck out. But they let those dudes get up, get in their car. Police has come around the corner. They're back. They're literally back. My wife's slapping their trunk. Like, these motherfuckers that saying it, nobody gives a fuck. They drove off. And I was only going to jail. I wasn't going for jail for nothing. I was going for like public intoxication.
Just like disorder of conduct.
But I was losing. Bro, I don't remember none of this part. Like at all. I was losing my shit, bro, because I was blacked out. Once I seen my wife, I lost it, bro. And apparently, like, I fucking spit on the cop through the fucking cage in the back and like threatened his family and kind of shit like that, which I'm not proud of by any means necessary. It's ignorant. Yeah, I would never spit on somebody like that. It's not cool.
No, it's not cool, but you're just mad.
I was out of it, bro.
Yeah.
So ended up getting a battery on a law enforcement officer. Due to my other, I had, the court can still see your shit.
Mm-hmm.
They can't use it against you. They use all that shit against you. I don't give a fuck what they say.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't put it on paper that they used it against you. But the state attorney, bro, was like hard. Like, they put up the offer of 2 years house arrest, and right there they were like, he needs to go to prison. I'm like, bro, chill the fuck out. Like, calm down, bro. But I was on the news and all that shit, bro. Like, my brother seen it, and everybody was like, what the fuck, bomb. I got trashed on the news. But so I ended up getting the 2 years house arrest out of that. I completed it. I did the shit.
God, that was so long, dude.
Wasn't cool. It sucked a lot. Ew. But it's better. But the judge told me straight to my face right then. He's like, I'm going to give you this 2 years house arrest. If you fuck it up, I'm going to max you out, which is 15 years. He could, if they wanted to, they could give me 15. And that's what he's like, you fuck this up. You come in here on a violation or something, I'm maxing you. I was like, all right, bet. I ain't never violated shit. I did all my shit, bro.
Yeah, dude. But 2 years of house arrest, oh my God, bro.
Wasn't
such a long time.
Yeah, to not be able to walk past your mailbox, have to check in every week and write down exactly where you're going to be every hour of the day.
And, like, that's the worst part is, like, all the check-in bullshit. Like, I remember I was going to I got, put on probation and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, you're like, yeah, you're happy about being put on probation. And then they're like, oh, also you have to call in every day to do the color wheel.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's not that bad. And then they're like,
also come see us.
Yeah, you also come see us.
Make sure you have a job, though, and you got to pay for all this shit. But you better be here. Like,
so now it's like 4 times a week, and at this specific time I was put on probation. I was put on probation in a county that was like two counties over. So they didn't transfer my case or anything. So I'm driving fucking like an hour and a half every time I got to take a drug test, and that's like 4 times a week. And then you drive back, and then it's a probation meeting, and then you drive back. And it's like, dude, it's like just put my ass in jail. Fuck, I'm over here every other fucking day.
Might as well. Like, can I change my mind, bro? Like, fuck this shit, dude.
Like, I'll take.
Just give me like 3-4 months or whatever, bro. Like, let's ride.
I had a question to go off of that. I don't even remember what it was anymore. But well, how would you feel? Well, all right. Let me ask this: if your oldest son started acting up in a way like he maybe started doing drugs, God forbid, or started fucking around with gang shit or whatever, what would you do to step in to make sure that he didn't end up in prison? How would you handle that?
Drug shit. I don't know. I mean, I would do whatever I felt I had to. Gang shit. If he got on some gang shit, then I'm going to test his gangster. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what a gangster is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll fix that real quick.
Have you actually thought about it, though? Like, what if he started doing drugs? What would you do?
I mean, I haven't really thought about it just because of how he is. It's not something I worry about. Mm-hmm. We actually, honestly, we just talked about this yesterday. We had another talk about it, and I don't really, just who he is and how he is, his character, how he carries himself, and I just don't worry about that, honestly. Because again, I've always been straight up with him. There's been family members we've had that have passed on due to drug activity type shit, and my brother and what he ain't passed away or nothing, but he's seen shit. So I just with him I don't know. It's never really crossed my mind in the sense like what would I do, because I don't know.
Yeah, I guess for you it's not like drugs were never like a huge, not that drugs weren't part of your life in some way or another, but that wasn't like you weren't like a drug addict. It was like that was never your thing. So I think about it maybe a little bit more because I am a drug addict. So it's like I think about that shit.
I've done plenty of shit, but I've always, if I want to quit, I just do. So like it's never been something in my drinking is a different story in a sense, but even that is like I can pretty well control that shit.
Good for you. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If you could have a conversation with the 15-year, I guess one shit like that 13 to 15-year-old self, the little John sitting there, and you're telling him, knowing what you know today, what would you tell him? The little guy, little badass kid.
I don't know, man. I think I would just tell them to don't focus so much on how hard this shit is, and don't try to impress people. Don't try to. I don't know. I don't know what because if you in those instances, like if you go back and you change, you tell yourself something, then your life changes. Mm-hmm. And as shitty as I've had times, as ugly as some shit's been, the people I've lost, the bridges I've burned, the homeless nights, the beatings I've taken, all that shit, I wouldn't really change any of it, honestly, because it molded me. Even though it's like I said, it sucked and you got that pain on you, it made me who I am. Mm-hmm. And I think the grand scheme of things, that's why I said earlier, like this just may be who I am. I'm gonna die with this on my shoulder because maybe I'm meant to be a lesson, or you know, like I could help people with that shit. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm one of the people that didn't break all the way. So maybe, you know, if I went back and told myself something, I think if I told myself anything, I would just say it's not always going to be like this. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say anything that would change anything, because then I might not have my wife. I might not have my kids. Mm-hmm. I might not be here. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I've always said I would never go back and necessarily like change anything, but I've always.
Well, even though, no, honestly, then no matter what I said, I wouldn't have listened to any fucking.
I mean, unfortunately, that is the reality of the situation. I mean, I think about that sometimes. Like, I remember. I think, you know, like I grew up in a drug addict family. Not that every single person was a drug addict. Almost every person was a drug addict, but not every person that was like a huge part of my life was a drug addict. Or, I mean, that's not true either. My mom wasn't a drug addict.
I got one.
My mom wasn't a drug addict, you know, and I had like my grandma wasn't a drug addict, but pretty much everyone else was a drug addict. And they're not, maybe not. I mean, once you're a drug addict, you're always drug addict, blah, 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 that bullshit. But I remember thinking to myself when I connected the dots on everyone being a drug addict in my family for the most part, I remember thinking to myself, I cannot wait to try that shit. I can't wait to figure out what it was. Why did they push it to this point? Why did they ruin this family? Why did they not care about their kids? Like, I want to understand whatever that was must have been so good. Yeah. And I cannot wait to figure out that feeling. I can't wait to feel that for the first time. And the fucking very first time a drug got put in front of my face, I did it, no hesitation.
Yeah. I never had that. I mean, weed was always around me my whole life, but again, I know that other shit was done. Now that I'm older and there's time, when you're younger, you're like, what are they doing in there? But now you're like, I know what the fuck they were doing. Mm-hmm. But I never really had that, honestly. There wasn't. Like, I never had drugs. I've been around it. I didn't try cocaine until I was almost 19.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And I did it. I got really heavy. I OD'd once a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
And then I just stopped. I didn't touch it for like 12 or 13 years.
Yeah.
Then I did it recently, not like yesterday or something.
Yeah.
So, like 5, 6
I'm high
years.
right now.
What's happening?
He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Not like 7, 8 years ago. I
Yeah.
delved into it a little bit here and there, but I just let it go. When the Roxy's thing was big down here in the Blues, I did those for, I don't know, like a month or two. And I was just like, this is stupid. And just never did it again. Never touched pills. Never done anything else. That's the hardest shit I've ever done is coke. Like, there's no fucking chance I'd ever shoot anything into me. Like, I fucking hate needles, bro. Like, the thought of that just is,
That's so crazy. That's where me and you differ is like,
yeah.
I see the next level of everything, and I think like, oh, I have to figure out what that's about.
Nah, never. I didn't grow up around like family like that, but once we moved to Mockley and all that shit, and I was, you know, to that 12, 13-year-old, then I grew up around crack a lot, bro. Like, because I was in what's called Santos Corners down off Boston Avenue in Immokalee. It was a flop house. It's not there anymore. The building is, but it's not what it is anymore. So that's all there is. Crackheads, prostitutes, pimps, alcoholic people that have nothing else going in life, and I was the only kid. There's no kids aren't supposed to be there, bro. That's why I was living there, and so I grew up around that shit, like brushing my teeth in the morning, ready to go to school, middle school, and there's like a bitch literally smoking crack, sitting on the toilet, that's been hooking all night. Some other fucking dude passed out underneath the sink, fucking drunk as shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that, bro. So I seen that shit, and I was like, well, I don't want that at all. So I just never touched any of that kind of shit, bro.
See, I always took it as like almost like a challenge.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Emma about this the other day, that like I saw that shit and I was like, I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna end up like that. And I think that's the problem with a lot of addicts, is they have that same mindset, like, I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna end up like that.
I'm gonna show you fuckers how to do this.
Yeah, like, you think you're a drug addict? Let me show you how to be a drug addict. Like, it fucking makes a difference. And the only difference between me and those people was nothing. Not a fucking thing, dude. There's not a damn thing. The difference was that, honestly, I think the difference was that maybe I don't know. The difference was that I had people around me that I cared about enough, and they cared about me enough that I didn't. No, there's no difference. I was trying to come up with something that's just not fucking there, because I think about the situations I put myself in going through addiction, and at any moment I could have died.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, and I would have just been one of those statistics.
I think it happens for a reason, though.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't change a fucking thing that I've been through. I can tell you, I would never want to go through it again. But I wouldn't change a fucking thing.
That's the crazy. Like, there's those moments where, like, it's like I wouldn't change nothing, but I wish that there was a way to get here without going through some of that shit.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Like, some of it's like, fuck, man. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, there's certain situations, certain things that I've done where
that's more or less it. What I've done.
What
I
I've
wish
done.
I didn't do that.
The shit that's been done to me.
Yeah,
it's not.
I can take it.
Exactly, but there's certain things that I've done, and there's certain situations I've seen myself in where I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get over it.
Oh yeah,
you know,
100%.
And I talk about it in therapy and stuff, and the shit that I've done to other people.
That's it. I've heard a lot of people physically.
Yeah,
that they didn't. I want to say they didn't deserve it. Maybe they did. I don't know, but I didn't. I don't think that. I don't know. I just wish I wouldn't have.
I look at it like this: that I look at this thing, that the whole "they deserved it, didn't deserve it" type of thing. Don't get me wrong. There's a line where people deserve it. Mm-hmm. Like, you touch a kid, you touch a dog, you touch a woman.
Yeah, I'm going in.
You're right. You deserve it, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it.
Oh yeah, never.
But like, there's people that I've like really, really, really hurt because they were talking shit, or they did this, or they did that. I've heard
people that didn't do anything to me.
I think that's where I was gonna slowly go down the line and filter out until you get to the point where there's people who didn't do anything, and that there's a level.
They were just there.
They were just there. There's a certain level of. I was thinking about this in the shower this morning, which is a weird place to think about violence, but I was thinking about how there's like a certain level of violence that changes your brain chemistry.
100%.
And I feel like once you change that brain chemistry, and this is just a theory, I ain't no doctor, but I feel like once you change that brain chemistry, it's really hard to get it back to where it was. And the way that you view yourself after you commit a certain level of violence, you fucking feel like a monster, dude.
Yeah. And
it's hard to like get that feeling off of you. And it's a shitty feeling.
Very much so.
You know?
Yeah, because there's certain shit that you're never gonna unsee.
Yeah.
That you done, and yeah, it sucks. I think you're right about that. You changed your brain chemistry in a sense, because you've crossed. You went above, and it's, you fuck people up, and it fucks you up too, ultimately. Unless you just don't give a fuck. Some people that are just psychopaths.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what makes us not. That's how I know I'm not a psychopath. Because we're sitting here having this conversation right now.
Yeah,
there's some people sitting here having the same conversation. They're licking their lips.
Yeah, they're like, I fucking killed this dude.
It's like, no, what the fuck?
Chill out, homie.
I remember the first time I hurt somebody to that point where I like sat back and thought like, I can't believe I just did that. And it was like so unjustified, dude. There was this kid, and I was like 14, 15 years old, and I grew up in a place where like you would just fist fight your friends if they were talking shit. I'm sure you had that too, where like someone would just say some slick shit and you would just pop off on your friend and then you'd be friends again.
Yeah, occasionally. Most of my shit was survival more than anything. Like,
You're like, I ain't that crazy.
I've done shit like
fucking,
not
I'm
necessarily. I've never done that shit to
Yeah.
like friends, honestly. But in it, just people. Because I was young, bro. I was like 13, 14. And I didn't know where the fuck my mom was. She wasn't coming home. Didn't have a job. Couldn't get a job really at that point. At that young. And I had to eat, bro. So I'd go out late at night, bro, and when there's motherfuckers walking down the road, if there's a man, I've never done it to a woman, but a man, someone will run up and didn't use no weapons. I never did that. I did it once, I was helping somebody out, helping make sure somebody didn't lose their car in their house. I went and did it. I ain't going into that, but that's what I would do. I'd beat the shit out of people, bro. And the way I justified it in my head is I don't use weapons. I use my hands, and if you happen to beat me up, then you get to keep your stuff. If not, I'm taking what's yours. And that's what I did. I did a lot of that, bro, and I feel horrible about it. Because some of the people, I didn't know them people. They were just going home. You know what I'm saying? So shit like that, really, I fuck some people up sometimes. Like if they fight back, and then then it gets exciting while you're doing it. You're like, oh fuck it, I'll beat your ass, and then end up knocking them out all the way. They're out cold. And then you take what they got and leave. These people are just out cold in the middle of the night, laying on the fucking ground. I don't know what happens to them after I leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind of shit, it sticks with you. It sucks.
It does suck, dude. And I think that's why it's like so. I don't know if you had this like it's easier for you to wrap your head around like the fucked up shit that people do.
Yeah.
Because you think like that could have been me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Again, there's a line where I don't understand.
Yeah, no.
Like, dude, I don't understand some shit.
100%. But there is, I'll take a step back on a lot of people first.
Definitely.
And be like, listen, I could have done that, or you don't know. I'll try to analyze situations. I know what you're saying. Like when people do fucked up shit, it's like, well, I mean, X, Y, Z could be, you look at shit. But yeah, if it's child shit, you fucking with it. I don't give a fuck what happens to you, bro.
No, not at all.
I'll beat you to sleep and won't think twice about it.
But I think that's what makes, and I think that's what makes us tools in this world, because the fact that we can have like a space in our hearts for people who have done fucked up shit, and we can actually listen to them and sit down and like understand what they're talking about and be a person that will actually hear them out and not just sit back and judge them.
100%.
The world is more fucked up than, I mean, a lot of people realize that the world is fucked up, but like, it's really easy to sit back and
it's judgmental.
Yeah,
the world's super
so judgmental. It's super easy to sit back and just write somebody off and pretend like they're useless, but there's a lot of people who get written off that shouldn't be written off, and that could actually do a lot of good in this world.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Is I feel like maybe I'm meant for this shit to be an example, or whatever. I have kids, I have to show something. But it is that too. Like that's why I come do this with you, and why I'm gonna do it myself with podcast, me and my boy and shit. It's because I don't want to come here and talk about this shit like that. And I'm not trying to glorify anything I've done. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bragging about nothing. Just saying what it is, and I do it in hopes that there's somebody that's out there listening that maybe going through the shit or have been through the shit and they're trying to deal with it, and just hearing other people talk about it. I know I've had that experience. I've heard other people say some shit that really resonated with me. You know what I mean? So that's why I do it. I want to, like, even with my business, ultimately I'd like to get to a point where I have some kind of program set up for people that are getting out of prison that, that are felons. You ain't got shit. If you want to come, I want to hire you. You know what I mean? I want to employ people like that, give them an opportunity to teach them something. That's what I intend to do at some point in my life. I want to help people because, like you said, so many people get wrote off, and it's easy to do. People wrote me off. How look? Oh, he got 3 felonies, 2 felonies, whatever. Like, So, bitch, you ain't never made a mistake. You just didn't get caught. That's what it is. A lot of folks that talk that shit, they done shit. You just didn't get caught, bitch. I got caught. You know what I mean? And you can't judge somebody on what paperwork says. Judge people by their character. Because I'll give you shirt off my back. You know what I mean? I looked out for people. I've gone above and beyond for people. Have never met a day in my life. Never met again after whatever the situation was. You know, that I interacted with them with. It's just life. You got to be able to do that for people. Not always like that. Sometimes I'm a dick. You know what I'm saying?
There's a flip side to this. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a dick, dude. But I try. I try to be as nice as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Fuck, dude. I don't know. I feel like I needed this conversation. I really did.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad we did it again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel like this is we're going to need to have you come back on here again.
Hey, whatever, bro.
I think you're going to have to be you're going to eventually just going to be a goddamn co-host. What they don't know is that we've shot out 6 podcasts. Yeah. It's just not all of them made it to air. This one's one of the ones that's going to make the cut.
One of them just never even got recorded. We just sat here and talked to ourselves.
It's crazy what happens when you switch from whiskey to coffee.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Nice. I like it.
All right, guys. As you know, hit the subscribe button. Do all that cool shit. If you want to watch more cool podcasts, you got to hit the subscribe button. It's important. And John will be back on here soon. You best believe that. And if knowing that, if you asked me questions about John last time and we didn't get to them this time, please send them to me again so I can ask him the next time he's on, because we did get flooded with questions and I just didn't get.
That's pretty wild. I didn't know that till you just told me that earlier. Yeah. I didn't expect that shit at all.
I feel bad. So the next time maybe we'll just do a Q&A for John and he'll be able to tell all his little secrets.
We'll see.
All right, bro. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
Of course.
You like, subscribe, comment. See ya.
Boom.